Hello and welcome to the North Kinder Media Podcast. We are here at Paraíso Tropical. Sorry, I try my best. With Jesus Gonzalez-Rivas. And we are at his wonderful Latin market. And we got to tour the store that you saw just before this. And we're going to sample some food as well. Some hot food. I love it.
Awesome.
Yeah, so welcome. Thanks for joining the podcast.
Thanks for the invite. Happy to share.
Yeah. And we got some snacks. What do we have here, Derek?
We got some right here. We got some yuca chips. Cassava.
Okay, got these.
Never tried that before.
And then these guys are plantain chips. So I don't know how we're going to probably eat it as we kind of talk away.
Yeah, let's do some crisping.
100%.
So Paraíso Tropical is a family business, correct? So did it start with your parents? Give us some background. How this all started.
Paraíso Tropical, like what you mentioned, it actually means tropical paradise.
Okay.
So we put Paraíso Tropical Latin market to kind of, share to the rest of the non-Hispanic people.
Yeah.
My parents started it up in 91 as immigrants from El Salvador. And it was just a way of sustaining the family in here. And they opened up shop in Chinatown.
Yep.
And we grew up with the business, all 5 siblings. And they grew, they moved, they relocated then to North Edmonton on 118th Avenue, then relocated again on there, 118th Avenue, where we currently are now for our North location.
Okay.
And then from there, I opened up this location in our self-store in 2014.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah. So the business has grown with the community.
That's cool. Did they see a demand? Is that why? Did they see other Latin
exactly.
American families and they're like, hey, we have something here. They're asking for things that we want. And it is not. We cannot find it.
That's exactly it.
That's exactly it.
They came here from El Salvador and they're like, there's nothing for Salvadoran community. So let's just set up an aisle.
Yep.
And then people from other Spanish speaking countries, they said, hey, what about these goods, Mexican goods? What about these Colombian goods? And then we just kind of expanded our product line as the community grew. And, then it was like, oh, well, we should have food to go. We should take out. And the business just grew organically that way with my parents. And then, life goes on. Our siblings grow up. My brothers and sisters, they go on to their own careers. And I decided to take it on myself as a second generation owner. And so my wife and I acquired the business from my parents who are now retired. And our goal is to kind of share this Latin market to the broader Edmonton population, not just the Hispanic market. We kind of want people to know who we are, what we do, what we offer, and people love it.
Oh, it's amazing.
We love it. We've had the best time already. It's so good.
Yeah. And that was one of our second questions was being a second generation business. What role did your family play in shaping the vision of Paraíso Tropical, and how has the business evolved over time, which you've kind of alluded to, and how
I think what Derek is saying is like, are they cool with where you've taken it? Or
I'm wondering, do they
should we do it
it's kind of like they have no choice, right?
They have no choice.
But no, my parents like, oh yeah, we want you to take on the business, but working with family is not always as peachy as it seems from the outside, right?
We can start a support group.
So exactly. And so they're like, oh, we want you, you can do things, but really when you're working with family, they'll be like, no, don't do it this way, no. And so there's a lot of like push and pull. And so the vision changes. They have a vision, I have a vision. Which vision are we going to follow?
Does your mom ever come in here and like start reorganizing shelves or doing something?
Well, they were very involved. And my dad mostly. My mom, I kind of like, hey mom, like step away. I got this. We know what we're doing. But and so how does it shape growing up with them? Like, that legacy you mentioned. It's this is our family, this is our business, this is what I grew up with, this is my baby, this is something I want to make sure I curate and I take care of and share, because my parents worked hard for where our business is now. And so I want to kind of respect and honor that.
Amazing.
Oh, that's so nice.
That's awesome.
Would you hope that your kids take it over someday? Or
I mean, I want the business to carry on, but no, I think I want at the end of the day, I just want my kids to be happy and enjoy what they do best, right? So if it's the business, I'd be very proud. But if it's not, as long as they're doing what makes them proud and happy, I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
it's such a nice thing to say. I feel like I'm going to be strong arming our kids into being like, you have to do North Kinder Media, you have to do music, you have to do this. And they're like, yes, mom. So even though in theory I say they can do whatever they want or what God's put on their heart, I would like it if they went in that
nice
direction.
To give them an option so that when you've built a generational business, they can do it.
Exactly.
And it's like they have a starting point that's really a great foundation. So
I'm curious. I mean, my little one's still like 3 years old, so we don't know. His personality is just growing. So we'll
some
see.
space there.
Well,
Derek, you work in a family business, and actually we work together. So I guess that counts as a family business
we
too.
know all about that.
Definitely.
But your dad is trying to transition out. And that's like, has that been going well?
Yeah.
Or like,
I mean,
how does the transition happen? Because I feel like there's a lot of businesses out there too that are, retiring out of their business. Like, what does that kind of look like?
Yeah. I mean, for my dad, he went down to basically 4 days a week, and he built, bought a farm. And so he's got other things, joined an orchestra. So he's got a lot going on. So he's dialed back one day in the business, but because of all these other things, but he's still involved. It's just a little bit less of the day to day. Yeah. Right. So it's higher level things that he's dealing with.
He has people under that can manage operate the
when there's
operations.
a question that just the team can't answer, can bring it to him and he can give his input.
But is there a transition? Like, are you transitioning?
Yeah, there's definitely. I mean, I think his plan was about another 2 years.
Yeah.
And he wants to be out, but that changes on the daily, because sometimes he's like, I love being here, and he doesn't really want to retire.
Exactly what happened
he's
with
like, man, maybe I'll stay till I'm 85.
Exactly,
and it's like, I mean, I don't care either way. I'm like,
you
it's
like
great
having him around.
Yeah,
he's very experienced and knowledgeable, and it's great.
We're not pushing him out the door. We're just, so.
Yeah, my transition was supposed to be 2-3 years, and 7 years, 10 years later.
Exactly, right?
So that's the advice. So we can tell people, if you're looking at that,
add
another 5 to 10
I get
on
why
top of the number.
You hear a lot about, you should really get this succession plan. I think that's key. I thought we did, but no. I mean, that you should really have a proper succession plan, because
milestone 1 year.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
because it was tough for us to figure out at what point is you're moving on.
Yeah.
100%.
So,
but everyone's happy now, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's that now my parents are retired, and they can't do it, and they're happy to see that I'm growing the business and whatnot.
Yeah.
So we're in a good place that way. The business is growing, prospering. But it wasn't without its challenges. Like working with family, it's not.
So what would be the biggest challenge then, if you can reveal that in a delicate way?
Well, it's what what people see on the outside is never what goes on the inside, right? Yeah. So I loved working with my parents. I loved working. I'll take that with me. Yeah. But there was always fights, conflicts. Their way of doing things in the business is different than how I wanted to do things. So that presented a lot of conflicts and issues. And most people don't see that. They're like, oh, you're the second generation. It's great. But like, there's a lot of things that went behind there. But thankfully, it's for the better. We understand where we are now. Yeah. My parents too as well. Now it's my wife and I that took the business, and we had some conflicts of our own. Yeah. As a owner, and she's the wife. I'm the husband. So she's kind of realized that she kind of wants to do her own thing separately from the business, and that's kind of the direction we'll take it. Yeah. Maybe we'll merge her business with mine down the road. We have some future plans there. But
awesome.
That's good.
That's good. No,
how do we work together?
I mean, sometimes it's like, I'm kind of an idea guy.
He just gave me side eye. He's like, how much can I say?
No, but it's like I kind of get going, and I'm like ranting on this thing, and Sheena's like, okay, that's great, but like I need to do this over here. Can we like stop talking? I'm like, okay.
Actually, I had that conversation on the way here because I'm trying to finish this project, but he wants to talk. He has amazing ideas, like fantastic business consultant. He's like, we could do this, this, and this. I'm like, we're about to do a podcast. I'm focusing on the questions. Yeah. I'm focusing on the task at hand. We can talk about that later. Yeah.
So we work pretty good. We don't have
really
very many fights. We just kind of like, sometimes it's just like, okay, we're not going to talk about work anymore, and then we're good. And is
your structure like more casual, or do you guys have like formalized of where you guys are going to? What areas you're going to focus on, in what areas you guys kind of just.
Yeah, we are pretty good in our lane. Like I handle a lot of the marketing and the emails and, all the things that social media, and Sheena is really the hands-on wholesale business. and really doing the business side of things, really the back end, a lot of
so
that.
it works.
Yeah, so it works out pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, we
Not all
cross
the time,
over
but-
a lot, but
He's like, I want to do like this, and I'm like, I want to do like this.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly
and
that.
I'm going to kind of
Exactly
be on some of
that.
that, especially
And
in the clothing. I'm like, okay, you're in charge. It's all good. You do your thing. But it's it's actually pretty amazing. And I
Yeah.
like that we can kind of like, I have someone to talk to.
Well, you have a
about this
trusted
stuff.
partner.
Yeah.
That's one of the
Well,
pluses
that's
of
it,
partner.
right?
You can
Yeah.
have a partner that you can really trust.
Yeah.
You know, you're not there to do something malicious. So there's the big plus of doing that.
Yeah.
It's just being aware of how you you jive well, right? Like
Yeah.
if you're where you guys how you settle differences.
Yeah.
That's the best way.
Yeah. Well, and I think the biggest thing too is to have a good partner in a business, you know, you all have to be pulling the same direction and have the same drive.
The same vision.
And I
Yeah.
think that's what's one good thing is like we're aligned on where we're going
Mhm.
and we're both really into it.
Yes.
So it really works well for the business. I know some people, they kind of, if the husband or the wife has the business and the other partner's not really involved at all, and they're kind of a lot of times want to pull back and say like, hey, let's, you know, you're working too much, or why are you doing that? And they're not understanding why it's taking so much effort to get to one spot and not pulling with the same direction. And so that's what I think is really helpful about our relationship is we know where we're going together, we're going at
You
the
have
same
that vision
speed.
set out.
Yeah.
I'm learning so much right now. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's actually what it is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes you'll just say, Sheena, you got to give on this one. And I'm like, okay, you're right.
Yeah.
And like, same thing, like back and forth. So
That's good. No,
Yeah.
that's key.
Yeah.
key vision.
Conflict resolution is major, like a big decision.
Well, and like what you said, trust. And I think that's why a lot of families do end up working together.
Yeah.
Because you actually are, you know, with that generational wealth. And
yeah.
you want to build that legacy and you want to move it forward.
Yeah.
And I mean, they had a situation, we might have to cut this off the podcast, where it was pretty serious with an outside person. And that,
how do you say?
and it was real bad. I don't know if I'm
Exactly.
allowed to say anything, but
We probably won't go into it
they probably won't. But
after.
I didn't
Yeah, I'm
I
curious.
didn't give
Yeah.
any details.
No, after.
I
No,
even
it's all
said
good. It's all good. It's all good. It's all
I
good.
didn't even say gender, but it was not a family member. And I'm not to say like I work with non-family members all the time. Like it's not to say that,
Yeah.
but there is like that.
Well,
you
it's a
can
business.
really trust somebody
when there's finances
money.
involved.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the unfortunate thing, and that's why people work with family, right?
Yeah.
So that's we've had stuff where partners did not work out. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
No,
Yes.
it can happen. It's all good. It's all good. Okay. What's one piece of business advice you'd give to anyone wanting to start a family-run restaurant store? And what's the
Yeah.
one thing you wish you knew before diving in?
Ooh, that's
That's
a heavy
loaded.
question.
I know it's a little bit much, but you don't have to
Just
make
give
it.
some
Yeah.
advice.
Just a little quick
and-
One piece
quick
of
tip.
business advice
Yeah.
that I would give for someone starting a family business together, right? That's the question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or even just
or
a
like
business,
something you wish
something
you
like
knew.
this in general.
Yeah, well, something I wish I knew. Well, so the thing with the business is that there's that professional element, and then the dynamic changes when you have your family there,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So, you know, you have to manage that professionalism, but when it comes to that conflict resolution, there's that closeness that you have that you wouldn't normally, that you can kind of cross the line that you wouldn't normally do in a professional setting.
Right.
You know how to
Yeah, yeah.
give
so,
a punch or a right hook.
So what I learned, I think, and is that you kind of have to be aware of them both. So you have to, where do you fit in the company? What's your vision for the company? Does it align with your family members?
Mhm.
Is the
Mhm.
professional element.
Yeah.
But then on the familial side, it's like, how are we going to resolve issues? Like what's our mechanism of conflict resolution?
Right.
Because you can have the same vision, but if you as a family member, you're always conflictive, you're not going to get anything.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you're always conflictive, if you're always, you go well with your siblings or your parents, but you have different visions for the company, that'll also be, it won't work out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of knowing what your expectations are for on the family side and the business side. I don't know if that answers
Yeah.
that.
No,
but-
no.
Kind
That's
of.
great.
There's another company here in Edmonton. I want to interview them, and
Yeah.
they're a family, and they said that each family member has their veto. So, you know, if I'm responsible for like this side of the business, so one side is like product development, the other side is marketing,
Yeah.
finances, they get the final say if it's in that category.
Yes.
So it's almost like getting out the
they split out
whiteboard
the
and
roles.
saying, this is our main role. Of course, we're going to interject. Of course, we're going to talk together and be collaborative. But if it fits into my column and if it gets down to that conflict part, I get final say on this. And you just have to be
That's
okay
a good
with
idea.
it. So that would be, I guess there's like an unwritten thing. If that's what you're talking about.
Yeah. I guess it's hard because it can work to your favor, working with family, or it could be. I know friends and families that have a successful family businesses, and others that don't because of that same reason.
Yeah.
So I it's how do you tell which is the right solution? But I think it's just knowing what your expectations are and being clear about that instead of just jumping in and we'll do this and we'll figure it out as we go.
And if you're not okay with it, then maybe don't go into business together.
Exactly.
Okay, but on the flip side, what's like the best thing about working with family? Have you had some like really fun, crazy stories?
Well,
you have pinatas all over the storage. You ever just have like a pinata party and
you know,
right? Turn the music
well,
up.
when I grew up with the business, there's sacks of flowers, right, on there. And I remember as a little kid, jumping on these sacks of flowers and trying to reach for the candies that my parents would leave at the very top so that we wouldn't steal it. And I grew up with the business that way, right? And we make castles and whatnot in the warehouse. And now I look at my son and I see him playing around. I see him grabbing the candies and that really, it's like a full 360.
Yeah.
That's
cool.
It's great. So it's something it makes it like growing up and growing with my parents. That's something I'll always take with me. I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to share that memory with my son as well.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So yeah, that's the great, that's a bond that you get to see. And plus, we're all temporary residents here. So we move on to the afterlife or however you want to view it. And the memories and experiences, what stays behind.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm blessed for that.
Yeah. That's some great.
And I have to say, your eyes actually really lit up when you talk about your parents. No, it's good. It's really, really nice. Like you have really good memories.
Yeah, definitely.
You have that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Do you want to take this next question?
About catering?
Edmonton.
I think we kind of talked about that. Yeah. Okay. So you do catering as well. So what's kind of the best package, or what do you offer? Is it like corporate birthday parties?
We do catering for corporate birthday parties, for everything. And that's kind of where we want to launch Paraíso Tropical to kind of share to the broader community. It's like, hey, we got food here. When people see our sign outside, come inside, try our food, and then people will try it. Oh, this is great. Where do I get this? How do I make it? And so we've been very active in like corporate functions to let people know that we cater for them, events. People can go online and see all the food that we have, and then reach out through us to us online by email, and then we'll kind of cater a package to whatever their needs are.
Yeah. Actually, that's the first time I tried your food. It was at a party. It was so
good.
Yeah.
And we're like, this is amazing. But, so that was kind of our first introduction.
Yeah, and that's exactly why, because we know people will love the food. We make it in store. It's like it's handmade food.
Yeah.
Right. So it's made authentic, and we take pride in that. And so, however we can share it, I love that when people say, "Oh, I saw your business," or "I tried your food at an event." That's kind of what gives me joy.
Yeah.
Because it's like, all right.
It's amazing.
Because there's no way we could replicate it the same.
No. I wouldn't even want to try.
I know, that's the thing.
I'm like, if I can go and pick up like authentic, amazing food, I'm going to just do that, right?
We always
I like to cook. I love cooking.
We collectively believe that like, if someone does it good, let them do it good, and I'll buy it from them. I'll do it.
And that's
instead
what
of
we
me
do
trying to replicate it.
And we have empanadas from all different countries, right? Like empanadas Colombian, Salvadoran, Brazilian. Everyone has their own form of empanada. So the fact that people can come here and try a little bit from every country is kind of what we're proud to share.
What's the main difference?
For example, in Colombia, the Colombian empanada is a corn flour shell with like a stewed beef, potato. There's different variations, but generally it's the corn. If you go South America, like Brazil, Argentina, Chile, they use a wheat flour shell, right?
I prefer the wheat flour. I know that.
Yeah, it's I like the corn.
But then I've never tried, so I shouldn't say. Yeah, maybe I don't.
Yeah, and corn's a very strong staple diet in Central America. So people who are gluten averse or gluten free, you'll find a lot here.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
All of our it's gluten friendly options,
Exactly.
friends. That's fantastic.
Oh, that's amazing.
So good.
Okay. So yeah, like we were talking before, we love using AI tools in our business, and right now it's so exciting with all the new tools coming out.
Yeah.
What are some AI tools that you use right now that you could talk about?
So I'm a tech guy. Like I enjoy that. Like I think that's where I bring a lot of strength to my business. So I've been exploring a lot of AI. I'm relatively new to it as well, but seeing how we can enhance our business.
Yeah.
So on the administrative side, we doing a lot of AI, like basic stuff to like task management softwares. Everyone has like your chat GPTs or your Gemini for your Google Workspace. So we use that a lot. I'm training my staff in how you use it, AI, because you got to ask the right prompts. You got to, kind of know how to really extract it to its best use. We also, I'm thinking there's so many AI programs like meeting recorders that will like,
those are cool.
Bring the transcripts and bring out the key points. It saves so much time.
Those are awesome.
There's a lot of ways that I want to incorporate it, how we handle our inventory, how we manage things.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. That's great.
What interests you guys with AI?
Oh, I like that. It's a good question.
I mean, we've been using, because we started with North Kinder clothing products. So we've always been on Shopify. Shopify they really came out with their AI tool. It actually wasn't that long ago.
Fantastic.
It is amazing.
I was just using it today because I had to run reports for things. And I don't have to go and search. Sorry, Derek, you can say it, but I didn't have to go and search for it. I just literally
because it used
said,
to be
I need a report for this. And it's like, bing, there it is.
It used to be super complicated because you'd have like a million different reports and all these. And honestly, you'd be like, oh man, what was that report? I wanted to punt, for this certain thing we use every month. Now you literally click it into the little AI. Hey, I need this report. How many people unsubscribed from the email list or subscribed this week? How many people, what was our number one selling item? Just a lot quicker than going and finding the report.
I was looking for how much tax did we collect for this month, this particular month.
And it gives you all of that?
It is incredible. But Shopify is like, to me, they're like the Apple of commerce.
Yeah.
They're so amazing. I really like I've always loved their product. I invested in their stock because I'm like, it's hard to beat. This is incredible. But then we also use like Klaviyo for email marketing. We're into a lot of different things.
But if you go to North Kinder Media, we do have the tools that we use.
Yeah, you can
and we have affiliate
you guys do?
Yeah, we
have
can
organizational
go and check out
software.
Because we found another software recently where especially for what we're doing with the podcast.
Yeah,
our personal brand.
Yeah,
it's got everything in one tool. Because before
I was
emails
from it,
linking 10 different things. Now you can create a funnel and an email campaign and everything, and it's all in one software, and it's really quick.
But that's your software that you have?
Yeah, the affiliate link that we use,
Oh, okay.
I'll show it to you after.
Yeah,
it's
I
pretty
really want to
amazing.
know how.
Yeah.
But for everyone else, you got to go to North Kinder Media and see all the tools
you don't pay extra.
You don't pay extra. We're just showing you.
And there's a 14-day free trial, but it's like I was fooling around with that software for like a year, and like, okay, I love it, and I just finally jumped in, and I'm so glad I did.
It's because the problem is that there's just so much coming out, and there's like one for this, one for that, and then sometimes it's just it's too much, and you can consolidate it in one program, right?
Yeah. Like this even has.
That's it, because we had a separate thing for emails, a separate thing for wholesale, a separate thing for e-commerce. We had a separate thing, like literally, and we're using all these platforms, and it just you feel like your brain's gonna explode.
Yeah, Like I wanted to create. People are talking about digital courses, and so I wanted to create a digital course for like guitar playing, just to do it. And so I did it on a different software, and then realized that this software that we're using now, it has a course. You can put digital courses in there, and then again, you're linked to everything, all your emails, everything's all in one spot. It even has Instagram automations. So comment the word whatever, and then it puts them into like a sales automation.
Yeah, see,
and
this is stuff
I need there.
I need more.
I'll say it's amazing.
Knowledge on because like.
And for your staff members too, it gives like productivity reports.
Yeah.
So you can put task lists for each of your staff members, and then whoever the admin is, they get a link being like, okay, this person, Susie, completed this task. Check.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool.
Yeah. You see what I mean? Like it's like.
But this is something like we just really sunk our teeth into.
Yeah,
I would say.
I'm always looking for new stuff too. I'm always looking because I know things are moving so fast.
Exactly, that's me. I'm always looking to how do we do things differently.
Yeah.
How do we innovate?
Yeah.
So I want to pick I'll pick your brain more on the AI side of things.
Super cool.
It's his favorite thing to talk about.
I love talking.
Good.
Good.
Okay, we're down to the.
I have some rapid fire questions, but I feel you answered one of them already. But that's okay. I won't let you see the rest.
Okay.
Spicy or mild salsa?
Spicy for me.
So there you go.
Yeah. Definitely spicy.
I have to giggle at this one.
My food, I can't eat food if there's no spice. It's the worst. It's a terrible addiction.
We'll have to remember that if you ever come over. We're like,
I
okay,
know.
get the spice. We're gonna buy like 20 sauces. So
totally.
we'll be good.
So this one I have to giggle. Is it Barcelona or Barcelona?
For me, it's Barcelona. I don't know. I know the right way. It's Barcelona or something like that.
Yeah.
I've never said it, so I can't say that.
How would you
Barcelona.
say it? I want to know.
I would say Barcelona, but I
Thank
know I'm saying it
you.
wrong. I think I'm saying it wrong.
Because I
So
feel,
tell my Spanish community members there. Yeah, I'm sorry.
well, I feel like you need to be a socialite or something to be like Barcelona. Like it doesn't even come out right. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
okay.
just- Because Spain has this th sound on their S and C. So
There you go.
Ibiza?
Okay.
Yeah, Ibiza.
Okay.
Okay,
But
I'm glad.
you
I'm
you learned.
surprised. I thought you'd be all in Barcelona.
no, it's yeah.
Can't do it. What is the funnest item in your store?
The
like
funnest?
Like when people buy it, you're like, yes.
Oh, that's a good question. That's hard.
I would say the Hello Kitty pinata.
Oh yeah, we're walking out with that.
we're taking that home.
The funnest item. I really enjoy when people try the Mexican tamarind candies.
Okay.
Because they can be kind of horrible, but also if you get used to it, they're good.
It's like amazing.
And so
It's like soap candies,
yeah,
maybe,
you just
right?
like seeing people's reactions
Or black
when they.
licorice, something.
Yeah, it's not black licorice. It's definitely unique, but I enjoy telling people to try it. Yeah.
Give it a
Good.
try.
We're
Okay.
gonna try this.
One thing you can't live without that you use every day.
One thing I can't live without that I use every day. Wow.
What is more specific is
my
it?
Google
Wow.
calendar. Like
Yeah, there you go.
my Google calendar.
There you go.
Okay.
I'm useless without it because if like I have to I open my phone, I'm like, hey, what meeting do I got? Because I'm the most forgetful person. I have very bad short-term memory, so thank God for AI and all these like gadgets here.
Awesome.
Well, I wouldn't say you have a bad memory. I think there's just a lot of things as a business owner. And so even for me, I'm like, it's got to go in the calendar.
Yeah.
Or who knows what's going to happen.
Maybe. I think I have terrible
Right.
short-term memory, but yeah.
No, we're going to say you just have a lot. So, yeah.
Sounds good.
If you could meet any person that is living right now, who would you meet?
So there's this polemic figure, and my wife bugs me about it. The Salvadoran president is a kind of
Oh, yeah.
person that's been on headlines a lot.
Yes.
Sheena likes that guy.
Yeah. So he, for better or for worse, he's a very interesting figure, and
Yeah.
I would love to pick his brain on what's going on inside his brain, like his mind. You know,
Mhm.
Yeah.
why the way he thinks, and
Well, he transformed El Salvador.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's done some crazy things, and country's a safer place. So I mean, you'll have your people that will tell you otherwise but just an interesting person, inspiring leader.
Mhm.
There's a lot to learn from him.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Wow, I really like that. That's a good one. I do have one more question.
Yeah.
Who else would you like to see on our podcast?
Oh gosh. Well, I mean, this is my business, grocery, right? I actually travel around the world looking at grocery stores, and I travel for food.
Cool.
So anyone that is like in the food restaurant sector, I would love to know how they operate their business.
Anyone specifically? Because then we could reach out. This is a good.
Yeah. Otherwise,
Um,
we'll pick some people. We'll
yeah.
shoot you a little list and be like,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah,
here's
well,
5.
I mean, there's the Luna is a restaurant, a great Mexican. I know the owner, Mariel.
Yeah.
Mhm.
She's very dynamic, quirky, and she cooks food well. So
Okay.
that's another person.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll check it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That sounds
definitely.
awesome.
Well, thank you so
Yeah,
much. That was
and we
wonderful.
gotta try some chips.
We will.
that's
Yeah,
right.
we'll
It's
have some
food.
We'll do
snacks.
that after. Yeah.
But I just want to say, if you like this podcast, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification button, check out North Kinder Media. How can people contact you?
www.paraisotropical.ca. We also have our social media handles. It's Latin Food Market, so it's easier to remember. You'll find us on Instagram, on Facebook, your typical social media.
And you said for ordering, they can just
For
find
ordering, go online, paraisotropical.ca, and then hit kitchen, and then you'll see all the food menu items, and hopefully you'll enjoy what we have to offer.
Perfect.
Amazing.
Well, thank
Thanks,
you
guys.
so
All right.
much.
Well,
It was
thank you. That was
great.
awesome.